Welcome to Get Your Bell Rung Pro Wrestling Podcast, the recap of AEW Dynamite, March 4th, 2026. With me, as always, my loyal co-host, a man I know I can always count on, talking about none other than WCW veteran and author of Looking Up at the Lights, the one, the only, Robbie Idol. Robbie, how are you, man?
I'm good. How you doing, KG?
I'm doing good. I like to make fun of myself a lot because I like to learn lessons. And we were talking about this earlier. I want to give a shout out to Candy Crush and her agent, Abby, because I had Candy on 3 weeks, a month ago. And you see, guys, the little scroll bar down here, I like to make them, to put the guest's name and stuff like that on there. It's about the only thing I know how to fucking do when it comes to tech, to be honest with you. I'm dumb when it comes to that shit. Well, autocorrect had changed the spelling of her name to end in Y instead of I, and I didn't catch it. And Candy caught it at the end of the podcast, and I'm like, fuck, there was really nothing more I could do. And she's like, it's not a big deal. But then her agent emailed me today, and they're like, if you don't mind, we need to change that, which I get. 100% get. Candy is a star in her own right, an up and comer, the future of professional wrestling, on wild professional wrestling. So I'm like, shit. So, I guess better late than never. We'll do that.
Sorry.
So you're good. So anyway,
like,
there's no way I can change this. It's already been recorded, right? I can't go into the recording and change it. I don't know shit about editing. So I'm like, well, shit. So I emailed Abby and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to delete the interview because I didn't want to do anything that's going to misrepresent Candy either. Again, man, she's at another level, right? So I went and I actually put our interview where it was private. No one could get to it except for me. And I'm like, well, shit. I said, let me try something. So I downloaded it and onto my phone. And I was able to cut off that part of the scroll bar, thankfully. But I tell you what, I want to give a shout out to both of them because if they weren't so cool, they could have absolutely just trashed me on social media. I mean, what an amateur dumbass mistake to make, to not catch the correct spelling. But you can bet your ass I would never make that mistake again, ever. Because I was embarrassed. It's embarrassing. I mean,
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Like Robbie Idol on. I mean, I don't give a shit about misspelling his name. But, Candy Crush. What's up, Grizzle?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
So I was saying, I had Candy Crush on the podcast interview.
Yes.
Wow, right? And
I watched that the other day.
Well, the new scroll bar, right? When I put her name on it, autocorrect kicked in and changed the spelling from K-N-D-I to K-A-N-D-Y. But I didn't catch that. And Candy caught it after the podcast. And today her agent was like, man, we got to get that changed. And I think I would be able to. Thankfully, I was able to figure it out. But I'm saying shout out to them for being so professional, so cool, because they could have just absolutely tore me a new asshole and talked about the pathetic amateur that I am by not catching that. So I appreciate a good learning lesson. I would never make that mistake again, that's for sure. But yeah, I appreciate them being so professional and so understanding and cool about that. You know what, Candy Crush, I don't approve of her tactics all the time inside the ring. I guess one got to do what you got to do to win. But nonetheless, she was kind of cool about it. Well, actually, you know what? It was Abby that was really cool about it. I'm not, Candy, you can never tell with her attitude. You just watch her matches. You never know. Never know what you're going to get with her. Nonetheless, guys, AEW Dynamite. I didn't mind it last night. I think maybe when I gave that comment, when we gave that comment about, we got to watch Dynamite tonight, maybe they were listening. Maybe they're like, we got to pick up our game. We got to have a good show. That they did.
Hey, it looked good on paper.
Yeah. Robbie, what'd you think overall?
Overall, I liked it. I mean, there are a couple bad spots that I toughed it out, but overall, it was more good than bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Grizzle?
I enjoyed it due to some technical errors out here due to thunderstorms and all that last night. I had to wait for the HBO Max replay, so I was not able to get until this morning, but it was a good show.
Fucking Texas, man. Fucking Texas. You never know what you're going to get with Texas. I'm not joking.
Yeah. No, he ain't lying, Robbie.
I lived around Texas.
Never been to Texas.
I've spent time in Texas. I can tell you, you wake up and it's 175 degrees, and then 10 minutes later, you have fucking ice hanging on your goddamn wires, knocking out your entire freaking grid system.
Yeah. We went from clear blue sky yesterday, no problems, to thunderstorm warnings, flash flood warnings, and possible tornado warnings within like a couple hours. It flips on its script.
Very close to Louisiana weather. I like Texas. I like the people in Texas.
Thank you.
I have some very good friends of mine in Texas. Shout out to them out in Cut and Shoot, Texas. Fucking Cut and Shoot. What a name, Cut and Shoot.
I love that name. That is just like the greatest name of any state ever. There's a gun barrel city out here too. I love that one too.
Let me tell you about the people in Texas before we get to this. So when I was 18 years old, I was one of my best friends, Jade Cassard. Him and his uncle, Marco James, they moved back to Texas after living in Louisiana as long as I remember them in my life. And I woke up one morning and decided, man, fuck Louisiana. I'm going to Texas. Now, the funny thing is, I had their name and kind of where they lived at. Didn't have their phone number because I lost everything, being the jackass I was a kid. So I just packed my shit and went to Texas. I knew they lived somewhere near Conroe, Texas. So I ended up in Conroe, Texas, and I showed up in Conroe probably about 1 a.m. And I pulled into this Shell gas station. No, not Shell, a Texaco gas station. And next to this Texaco gas station, kind of attached to it, was this game room. So I hung up in there for a little bit, asking people, do you know where the subdivision's at? And then I made my way to the inside the gas station. And there was this young lady by the name of Patty that worked there. And her boyfriend, Jimmy. Big old country fella, overalls, everything you expect from, a country guy. Super nice people though. They helped me figure out where my buddy lived at. And from that day forward though, we very close friendship. I was poor back then, and she would let me come into the gas station, and I would mop for her at nighttime. So I hung out at that game room, and I would mop a lot. And she'd throw me a pack of cigarettes, hey, $10 in gas. Super cool, man. We became very good friends. I don't know whatever happened to them. Life happens, lost touch. But yeah, they were really good people. Good people in Texas. I really do appreciate Texas. Made so many people. I bartended at Virginia City in the Woodlands back in the day. So good times in Texas. So yeah, that's my story. Thanks for the enthusiasm.
Great story. Hey, I moved out here with no job or nothing, no family out here. We just packed up and said, all right, we're bringing our kids and moving to Texas. Figured it out when we got here.
Yeah, man, sometimes that's what you got to do in life. AEW Dynamite, guys, we opened up, surprisingly, with Kevin Knight against MJF. I was excited about this match. And I tried to retain myself because oftentimes I will put that bar here and they don't deliver. And I have to tell you, I put the bar here. And in my opinion, they delivered up here. They over-delivered. I enjoyed the match. I really did. MJF defeated Kevin Knight to retain the AEW World Championship. After the match, MJF tried to attack Kevin Knight with a dynamite, a diamond ring. And before he could do it, though, Hangman Adam Page walked out on the stage. Then Mike Bailey appeared behind MJF and blasted him with a super kick, sending a message right away. What that message is, well, the message is MJF's still going to retain the title after the pay-per-view. That's my prediction. But nonetheless, it was good shit. Grizzle, your thought of the opening segment?
I thought it was a good match. Like you said, we saw the we saw the preview. And, I posted that. We saw that. We were both looking forward to this match. But like you said, we've seen stupid shit happen, and some of that happened tonight. But no, this was a decent match. Kevin Knight got his spots to shine, and I mean it was kind of obvious. MJF was leading the dance on this one, but Kevin Knight held his own. MJF made him look good. Kevin Knight made MJF look good. So like you said, it was a decent match.
Yeah, I'm glad I took the initiative. I was kind of like, it's kind of out of the blue, MJF, Kevin Knight, because I didn't have a chance to watch
Collision.
So I went back before, and then I seen the why. I enjoyed their promo together against one another. I mean, look, did Kevin Knight give the best promo of his career? Probably not. But was it the most terrible of his career? Absolutely not. He did okay. It is MJF. Robbie, your thoughts on the segment and the match, man?
I liked the match. I thought it was good. So I kind of don't like, the only thing I don't like what they're doing with Williams, the way that they're having him try to cut his promos, because it doesn't seem like it's him.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
So, it don't make sense. Who's Williams?
Kevin Knight? Kevin Knight. I'm sorry. Where I came up with Williams, I don't know.
We haven't figured out where you come up with any of the names, Robbie. It's okay.
It's just
Lance and Williams, and
I'm not the only amateur of this podcast, okay?
But I have an excuse. I've been hitting the head one too many times.
Yeah. Jimmy shots with the chair.
Kevin Knight. Just the way they have him do his promos now, he just doesn't. It seems like I can't explain it, but it's not. It doesn't seem like he's authentic. It's right. Like he's kind of forcing it. But no, the match was good. I thought where it went with everything and the way it kind of led to throughout, later on and everything. It was good.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, because a lot of times I get it, especially when you're featuring a Kevin Knight doing a promo against MJF and MJF cutting his promo back. It comes across as being it was wrote for him. I'm not saying it was, but that's how it comes across. That's something that he memorized. And when you listen to MJF, this looks like this is coming from the top of MJF's head. He's making this up as he goes. I'm not sure if he is or not. I'm just saying that's the perception. So right. I get what you're saying.
But it kind of when it kind of went that way is when Swerve did cut the promo on him.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of started pushing him that way. Right. It was after the Swerve promo.
Right. Yeah. Get it. We go next stage to Rene Paquette interviewing Bandito about his upcoming match with Andrade El Idolo. Yeah.
Andrade El Idolo.
Yeah, El Idolo.
What would you do without me? Jeez.
I don't know. I would just say Andrade. I didn't like this, and I tell you why. Bandito came across more as a fan who was marking out than a guy who was about to face Andrade in the ring. I don't know whose idea this was, but whose ever idea it was, please stop. Not a good look. It's really not. Robbie?
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, it was like he marked out for Andrade.
Yeah.
It was, and it was funny because Andrade went that way, do you want a selfie or, but yeah, you'd have thought there would have went a different angle instead of that angle.
Yeah, Grizzled?
Yeah, it came across really odd. Andrade played it off pretty good, though. Do you want a selfie? So, I mean, they tried to save it. But no, Bandito was way too much. Oh my God, I get to wrestle Andrade. Then, getting to, I'm going to beat Andrade. It just, yeah, I agree.
Now, I'm just being honest with you guys. This is a match that I could see on Collision or even Dynamite. But to say this for Revolution, do you guys think this is Grizzle? Is this a pay-per-view match, man?
Absolutely, because remember, Tony Khan loves to have the 4.5, 5 hour, extravaganzas. So he needs as many matches as possible. Right. I think it's going to be a good match. Don't get me wrong.
It's going to be good.
But the promo didn't really make me go, wow, I got to see this. But, I already knew it was going to be a good match just because of the, the people in it. So, but totally see this as a collision, as a pay-per-view match.
Yeah. Bob Cook says, but the guy said he watched him when he was a kid. Yeah, he did. It's going to be a good match. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know. For some reason, I'm just picturing this as a Dynamite match versus a pay-per-view match. Robbie?
Yeah. To me, it's, I don't know. I mean, after seeing the promo and stuff.
I think, and you know what? I think that's exactly what it did to me, was that promo. That promo put it in that place of being a match on Dynamite instead of a pay-per-view.
Right. If it would have came across, if they would have did a different angle, it probably would have went, okay, now, way that it is, like Vet said, it'll probably be a good match because of who's in it. We hope. We got to hope we don't get like a Penta Dom match there.
Right. Guys, next we go to a tag team match. Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin against Gabe Kidd, Clark Connors, the War Dogs. Cassidy and Darby Allin won. The big takeaway from this match, besides it being the normal chaotic with lots of crazy shit happening, was after the match, we got David Finlay made a surprise appearance. He attacked Cassidy and Allin with a
shillelagh.
Yeah, shillelagh, that's it. I just had stick, but I remember. And
Irish stick.
Yep, and reunited with his former New Japan allies, Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors. The three of them left Cassidy and Allin laid out after a brutal 3-on-2 beatdown. Guys, there's been a lot of talk online amongst the internet wrestling community about this. There's people who were talking about why wouldn't David go to WWE. Now, of course, it's been said that I guess David felt like NXT was a wrestling school. He believes he should go directly to the main roster, hence going to AEW. Again, I haven't verified that. I got busy. I didn't have a chance to verify if he actually said that or not. That's what's being said. I don't know. Robbie, were you surprised to see David show up at AEW? Was you expecting him actually to show up with WWE?
I'm going to be honest here. I didn't know who he was.
That's the thing right there. Someone made a very interesting point. I think it might have been on Bob Cook. Bob Cook posted about this, our other co-host. And so I think it was on him. They made an interesting point that, look, this is the thing. The reason for NXT is not a wrestling school. It's a way to learn WWE style, their production, and as well to introduce you to the WWE crowd. Because as you said, Robbie, exact point. Not everyone knows who he is.
I don't follow Japan, New Japan Wrestling, so I don't know. I didn't know who he was.
Right. Bob says, if they would have interviewed me before I went out to wrestle Ric Flair, you would have thought I was a Mark II, and I would have thought the same thing about that match then, Bob. Grizzle?
Yeah, no. I didn't mind seeing him in AEW because I have no problem with the War Dogs. I like the War Dogs. I follow them in New Japan. I knew who he was, Robbie. Thank you. But only because I've seen him in New Japan. I read the same story you did. He wanted to go to the main roster, not NXT. Which they put Danhausen on the main roster, so
yeah, but people know.
Yeah, but Danhausen, I don't see Danhausen getting into the ring though.
He will.
But not too often. Look, I knew who David was too, and I'll be honest with you. I think he would have looked like a fish out of water in WWE. His style is more AEW. It really is, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they were going to put him with the group that would have been Lexus King and Arna Grace, the second generation, the parent, the kids with the famous parents and all that. So He would have kind of went into a storyline to begin with and a group to begin with, which could have, helped and all that. But I mean, he's still part of the War Dogs, and right. AEW has that fan base that's going to like go, oh my God, it's the War Dogs, because they know who he is.
Right. Next, guys, we go to the women's tag team match. The Brawling Birds, Jamie Hayter, Alex Windsor.
God.
Against the debut of the Inspiration, Jessie McKay and Cassie Lee. Of course, we know that we recognize them from WWE as the Iconics.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people voicing their displeasure about them basically getting squashed last night.
What do you mean, basically?
But this is my question. I haven't heard of these two guys since they left WWE. I'm going to steal a page out of Bob Cook's book. Shouldn't they just be happy at this point right now that they are being featured on television with AEW? Grizzle?
They were actually over in TNA as the Inspiration. They were the Knockouts Tag Team Champions in TNA as the Inspiration. Yeah, see, the sad part about it is Brawling Birds were coming out. I'm like, okay, here comes the Inspiration doing their dance thing, which we're used to.
Terrible,
like,
by the way.
Well, yeah. But I'm like, okay, cool. Terrible. I'm going to get up and go get me a cup of coffee real fast. So I go into the kitchen to get some coffee real quick. I come back out and the match is over. I'm like, what the fuck happened? So I had to reverse it back to see. And I went, oh, well, shit. I mean, okay, give them some offense. I mean, it's supposed to be their big debut. This was supposed to be a big deal. And yeah, but I just kind of was like, holy shit. All right. I mean, hey, they got some faith in the Brawling Birds then if they want to push him that big. So,
yeah, by the way, Bob says he's just talking about David. He's just another generic character with a goofy haircut and a beard, although his punches looked pretty good. I like the guy.
If he's Pitt Finley's son, his punches better look pretty good.
Right. Robbie, what did you think about this match? I am not high on the Brawling Birds. I'm going to be honest with you. Their finisher, it's not
one
coming
stone,
across.
2 birds, or 1 bird, 2 stone, whatever.
Yeah, but it was cool. Used that finisher. God damn it. Can't remember what tag team used to use that finisher. The problem is that Jamie Hayter does not run fast enough off the ropes. And because of that it doesn't look good.
That finisher's the old Heart Attack.
Yes.
Heart Foundation.
Yes,
Bret Hart. Yeah.
That's it. It looks weak coming from them. Just being honest, I don't like that finisher that they're doing. I don't believe it does it justice, in my opinion. Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't care for the finish. I'm like with that. I was shocked because that they didn't give them any offense. Right. I mean, because knowing that they came from TNA as the champion and champions and stuff like that, so they were over in TNA and stuff, and now you brought them in and you really kind of squashed them, and now you wonder what kind of credibility they have going forward.
Yeah, Bob says the finish looked dangerous as it was done. You're talking about it looked dangerous coming from the freaking Brawling Birds? Were you like on a caffeine high when you were watching that?
I didn't think the finish was that bad. Jeez.
He was on a Mountain Dew overdose.
No, it wasn't Bret Hart hitting that clothesline crisp like he would do in the gym, but it didn't look like theirs. But
right, but that's the
comparing
problem.
Apples and oranges.
No, it's not, because if you're going to use a finish that was used by such a legendary fashion like the Hart Foundation, then I'm sorry. You need to at least make it look almost as good and crisp. And Jamie Hayter, look, I like Jamie Hayter. I like Alex Windsor. But watch when she's running. She's not that fast. She's not. And because she's going slow, it takes away from it, is what I'm saying, in my opinion. So, but again, I'm also, look, if I would never see this finisher done, right? If I didn't have in my head Bret Hart doing it, then maybe, but your mind's you're going to compare it. You're going to, because you're just going to. Bob says, I should pre-read what Bob says before I put it up here. One woman landed on the other woman's chest, and Bob. And that looks pretty dangerous, is what he said. Next, we go to Hangman Adam Page's match.
Is that what this was?
Yeah, right. Hangman Adam Page faced local competition Marty Snow in a quick squash match that was won easily, obviously. After the match, Hangman grabbed the microphone and promised he was going to destroy MJF Revolution. That brought MJF out to the ring. But before things could escalate, the Don Callis family attacked Page from behind. Okada, Fletcher, and Mark Davis jumped Hangman. Mike Bailey ran down with chairs to help even the odds. Later backstage, Don Callis challenged Hangman Adam Page, Kev Knight, and Mike Bailey to a trios championship match for the main event that Tony Khan pretty much made official before we even got the goddamn camera panning onto them to say that it was official. Tony Khan, slow the fuck down. No, actually, I doubt that's even Tony Khan. Whoever's in charge of making that announcement or pretending like they talked to Tony Khan, slow down. Let it marinate for a second, for the love of God. We talked about this last week.
I don't think it's anybody who's making an announcement or anything. I think it's just I just think it's the ringside commentators. They're jumping the gun a little too quick. Because wasn't it Shivani again who made the announcement?
Right. Yeah, I think it was Shivani.
Yeah, he jumps the gun too quick.
Yeah,
he doesn't give it a chance. So we'll be on Robbie's side. Let's point the finger at the right person. Shivani keeps doing it and he keeps screwing it up because he's the one who always announces it. It's been official made by Tony Khan. Wait a minute, they just made the challenge. Shit.
Yep.
You got your ear in his mic or your head up his ass. One of the two. Because you're quick on the draw on those announcements.
Yep. Yeah, true. Robbie, your thoughts on this?
I had to deal with a brutal promo from Don Callis. I don't understand why Tony loves this guy. Like I said, I'd shit can him, I'd fire him, and I would go kiss Joel Gertner's ass and bring Joel in. I'd rather see a Gertner family of 20 people. At least the dude's entertaining. Callis is just brutal to deal. He's just brutal.
See, and this is where you and I would never be on the same page because Don Callis is the best thing they've got going as far as managers on AEW right now. He is, I think he's good on the mic. Is he annoying? Absolutely. Do you want to just take the mic from him and beat him with it? Absolutely. But that's what we're supposed to do. That's how we're supposed to feel. He's doing his job. The fact that you feel just that about him, he's doing his job. Grizzle?
I agree. You hate him that much. Yeah, he's doing his job, and the job of a manager is to get the heat and pass it over to his guys, which Callis does very well. My issue with this whole thing, though, one, back-to-back squash matches kind of just put a lull on the show for me for a little bit. It kind of kicked me out of it for a bit. My problem with the Don Callis family is, aren't they feuding with Moxley and the Death Riders?
They are. And
now they're feuding with Adam Page, and they want a match again. They're putting Don Callis into too much shit is the problem.
And we're going to get to the Death Riders thing in a bit here because there's some shit that I want to talk about with that. Next, we go to another interview, this time with the Young Bucks and FTR. Renee McCann hosted a face-to-face interview between the Young Bucks and FTR to promote their upcoming match at Revolution. The conversation quickly turned heated. FTR eventually walked out, but before leaving, Dax Harwood punched fucking poor Brandon. Brandon Cutler says Cutler was not part of the no contact agreement. Man, here's a question. Grizzle, you probably know this.
I might.
Yeah, between me and Robbie, you're the one that has a better chance of knowing this. What's going on with Brandon Cutler? Why do we not see him in the ring anymore? Did he just decide that he didn't want to wrestle anymore? That he only wants to every now and then be part of the, this whole sidekick thing that he's pretty much been for quite a few years now with the Young Bucks.
I'll be honest with you. I've only really known him or remembered him as their sidekick, camera guy, whatever. So that's kind of always the spot I've seen him, saw him in. So
yeah, he at the beginning of AEW, he was a competitor. He already was. Robbie, what you think about this masterclass interview?
It was okay. I mean, I guess it served its purpose.
Was it needed is the question.
No, but it held its spot. It was better than some of the other promos they ran.
Right. Grizzle?
Yeah. I mean, all the promos, I didn't really have too much of an issue with them this episode. So, I mean, but continues a storyline going into Revolution. So it had a point. So for that, I'll give it its due. It had a point.
Now, the next segment, the next match, just me and Robbie's going to disagree, because this is one of my favorite matches of the night. Jon Moxley versus Hechicero. Sure, I butchered that name. Which he won. This was a very technical and intense match. Moxley ultimately picked up the victory. After the match, Takeshita appeared on the stage. The two men, Moxley and Takeshita, stared each other down to hype their upcoming match at Revolution. Robbie, I know you're not a big Moxley fan, man, but this was a good match. Look, this was one of my favorite matches with Hechicero. It really was.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad match. It was, it was fine. Just not like I said, not a Moxley guy, but no, the match was fine.
Grizzle?
This is where I had my issue last night. I was watching the match, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, damn it, I lost the last 15 minutes. And I went, wait a minute. No, this isn't the main event. I lost the whole hour. So this is where I had to go, wait till the morning, go to Max. So I watched this match in half because I caught it right about so. But yeah, match was decent. Like you said, probably one of the better matches Hechicero's been in. I think that's due to the opponent. I don't have an issue with Moxley like Robbie does. No, I enjoyed the match, and Takeshita coming out, okay. Once again, like earlier promo, it had a point. It kept the storyline going for their match coming up at Revolution, which is a match I'm really looking forward to. So, overall decent, especially after two squash matches and the stupid promo after that. It kind of got my interest back up.
Oh, guys. Next, we go to another talking promo. Backstage, Brody King caught up Swerve Strickland backstage, but it turned out to be a setup. Swerve, this actually was in the ring, that backstage. Swerve and Prince Nana ambushed King. Swerve even choked him with a chain while promising to finish things at Revolution. This is my problem with this.
I had a couple problems with this, actually.
Brody King said the difference between me and this is his exact words, obviously, but this is what he, in a nutshell, said, Swerve, this is the difference between us. You have to tell everybody you're the dangerous man, the most dangerous man in AEW. When in fact, I don't need to tell anybody that I am he said he didn't, but he went and did it anyway. He's also having to announce that you know what I'm saying? I thought that was silly. The next thing is Brody King, for fuck's sake, if they're going to keep trying to book him as this monster, fucking dress the part, dude. Seriously. Last night he looked like this guy he's this big guy, but he's not scary. I want to invite him for fucking tea or something.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
And then of course the whole choking him out thing. This is what I thought was goofy. So it was a good couple of minutes that Swerve was choking his ass out, face turning blue, spit everywhere, about to freaking commit homicide on national TV. And it took that long before his little partner came out for the save.
He was backstage talking to Andrade. Come on. Shit.
He was getting a selfie.
He's getting a selfie. Come on, he was busy.
Selfie save your partner. What do you think?
Oh, Jesus.
Robbie, we'll start with you before Grizzle says I think he has good bit to say.
My issue with this is the way that they're trying to push Brody King, saying I'm the most dangerous, and you've never ever seen him in any of those kind of matches.
And again, I'm sorry, Robbie. And again, let's remind everyone, fucking Darby Allin beat you clean.
Okay, so there, Darby beat you, but we've never seen you in War Games. We've never seen you in any of those things, street fights, death matches, anything. You have not been in any of those. We've seen Swerve in those, so. Yeah, I have a feeling that this match I'm not looking forward to it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Grizzle, I myself find this whole freaking storyline a little silly, and I tell you why. The whole the most dangerous man thing. That depends on the fucking show. There's some matches that, you may look like the most dangerous man over Swerve, but there's times Swerve may. It looks so fucking. This is a dumb storyline. If this was more about, you know what, I got to knock your ass out of the way because we both have suffered losses that kind of kicked us out of the contendership for that belt that we both want. You're in my way, motherfucker. I've got to take you down because of that, right? That's one thing. But this whole story of I'm tougher than you are, Sandlot, not yours, it's childish. Go ahead.
Well, I agree. Each one of them saying, I'm the most dangerous man in AEW, the real most dangerous man in AEW, and all that, right? You made the comment about Brody King's outfit, though. This week, I didn't have as big a problem with his attire because it came out wearing the black jacket, jeans, whatever. And we've seen Moxley when he was in AEW or WWE, he would come out and he wore a black jacket. I didn't have an issue with how he was dressed this time because he wasn't wearing a fucking sweater.
Well, I thought he was wearing a sweater last night.
No, he had a black jacket. He had like black jacket, t-shirt underneath. So at least it looks a little more I'm here to fight, not coming out wearing your hoodie sweater and shit like that.
Right.
Sounded a little more menacing when he first started talking, there. And then he settled into his my problem with this one though, and it threw me off until Swerve came in, did his thing, was Nana comes out to do the introduction, and he comes out. And for some reason, I don't know if Nana didn't have his shit prepared. Nana didn't know what to say. Yeah, yep. He must have laughed like 5 fucking times introducing Swerve. Yep. It sounded stupid. It was like he kind of was like, I don't know what to say.
I part of me was wondering because I thought about that. I noticed that, and what went through my mind is this how he is differentiating himself from babyface manager to heel manager? Because before, when you were a heel manager, when Swerve was a heel, which was and you did perfectly fine job, you didn't have that dumbass laugh. So I don't know who got in his ear. I don't know if this was a Prince Nana thing or a creative thing, but whoever it was, please stop. Prince Nana, you're fine.
I don't know if it was a Nana. I don't know if it was a Nana thing or a creative thing. It almost just sounded like he didn't quite know what to say, and he was just kind of making it up as he went along, and he was live mic and just was like, okay, I can't think what to say.
You know what was missing from that? I swear to God, because I thought about this too. I went, this motherfucker needs that mustache, so he's fucking twisted it when he's laughing that way.
But luckily, Swerve came out, okay, attack, chain, all that stuff. Okay, it picked it back up because Nana's introduction really, for me, just kind of went, it kind of threw me off. I'm the world's most dangerous man. Okay, stop doing that. But it picked it back up. But that was my takeaway on that one, was Nana just seemed like a step off in that introduction.
This is something else about me. I want to go back to Bandito being the one to run out there for the save, right? Swerve Strickland, I am the most dangerous man. I will kill you, basically, right? Now, he pretty much at that point took care of Brody King. He was done. And little bitty freaking Bandito is the guy that makes you, oh shit, I'm going to stop and get out of here. Stuff like that just bothers me. If we're going to go with this whole, argument of who's the most dangerous guy, then Swerve Strickland should have beat the living shit out of Bandito when he came into the ring instead of running from him. I know that's the common heel thing. You're a coward in real life. You run. But for this storyline, I think it would have made more sense, again, if he would have been able just to beat the living snot out of Bandito. Robbie?
Yeah, probably, and just leave them both laying in there.
Right. What about you, Grizzle?
I didn't have an issue with that part of it. I didn't even think of it like that. Bandito ran out to make the save because shut up. Bandito came out to make the save because obviously him and Brody King, that's Brodito, that's his buddy. So it made sense why he came out. I didn't even think about, because that's the normal thing. Oh shit, here comes somebody. Gone. That's what they do. So I didn't even think of it in terms like that. So now next week that might happen. He might kick the shit out of Bandito to set up the storyline going in for next week. So Brody's going to be pissed off. I want to kill you for what you did to Bandito. But then again, that could fuck up the Bandito match because he may not be too beat up to face his favorite wrestler in the world. So I don't know.
The next segment is the segment that I had to scratch my head that I had a little bit of an issue with. And that was the Death Rider segment. Because on one hand, you have Jon Moxley cutting a babyface promo. And then immediately you have, I can never remember his name. This guy's head shaved.
Wheeler Yuta.
On the other hand, you have Wheeler Yuta cutting the heel promo. So is this faction heel or they babyface? What the fuck are they doing? Because they have left him in this weird position ever since the tournament that Jon Moxley won, Grizzle.
Well, and also on top of that, they also had Daniel Garcia. Don't forget,
yes, Daniel Garcia too. Yes,
Garcia spoke. Wheeler Yuta spoke. Moxley stood in the back, made minutes.
So I don't mean to interrupt. So Garcia spoke and Moxley spoke in the reference of baby faces because they're going against the Callis family, and they are obviously the heels. And then you have Willa talking about shaving his head, which, by the way, apparently getting your head shaved is the worst thing you could go through in one's career or life. But he is a heel. So that leads me to believe that either A, Yule is going to get kicked out, or B, we're going to have Daniel Garcia and Moxley. They're going to turn on him. I don't know. Grizzle?
I don't know where they're going with it. It doesn't make sense. And they're feuding with the Callis family, who are now feuding with the Trios champions. Everything is split. Nobody knows who let Moxley and Takeshita do their thing and don't involve all the other, let the Death Riders do their thing. Let Don Callis family do their thing. Let Moxley and Takeshita be the guys that fight each other. Yeah. That's the way I feel. But I'm not a booker.
Absolutely. Next, we go to the AEW Women's World Championship. Thekla against Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa looked like a weak bitch last night with one move, with one thing. When Thekla had her beat, and before the ref could do that 3 count, as her head's going down, obviously it was done. She pulls Thunder Rosa up. That's not a good look, in my opinion. Are they trying to now, are we now to believe that Thekla is going to be this person that can't be defeated? She's such a badass. Thekla got the win, Robbie, I'm going to go to you. With this, tell me, what did you think about the second spear that finished Thunder Rosa off.
Yeah, but she also gave her 2 stomps.
Right. I'm not saying, my point though, I'm not saying that, oh, well, she should have been done. I'm saying, what did you think about that spear?
Oh, she looks brutal with that spear. Or no, one of them, I think one of them didn't look like he even touched her. And that might have been the second one.
That was the second one.
Yeah, the second
one. So the second one, the first one she looked a little brutal with, but the second
Right.
one didn't look like she touched her at all.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a Thekla fan, and Tony, please keep the mic out of her. Don't let her do promos. She's right up there with Moxley's promo. They're brutal.
Damn.
I don't disagree, but go ahead. On Moxley's defense, not Tekla's defense.
So,
but do you think that
the match actually? I didn't think the match was bad. I actually thought it was a good match.
Well, the match was fine. I said with that one spot, her pulling Thunder Rosa up. This is her return, right? Getting that title match right away. You don't think that made Thunder Rosa look kind of weak?
No, it looked like she. To me, it didn't. I mean, it looked like, okay, I'm going to give you more punishment. They're trying to make, like, if you go back and you watch with Thunder Rosa and Statlander, be careful. She's dangerous. So they're trying to put that, make her look, okay, she's this badass. She's dangerous. You got to be careful with her.
The reason why I thought that, man, when they're kind of doing her dirty was because there was some heat between Thunder Rosa and AEW, some legit heat. And I know it's supposedly gotten squashed, is done with. But I was like, yeah, I don't know. Grizzle?
I don't think it made anybody look weak. I'm with Robbie. The match was okay. They were just trying to, to push Thekla and all that. And being in El Paso, it's going to make her look more of the heel if she's, whooping Thunder Rosa's ass, in El Paso, because that's supposed to be her hometown and all that. So I didn't have any issue with your doors opening.
Right. my wife.
Somebody's gonna get him.
She doesn't want to be on camera, so she will get her hands and knees to think the hell. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to go back here. We're going to go back to the because I forgot about it, and for some odd reason it popped in my head. The Orange Cassidy Darby Allin one.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that bump that Darby took?
Which one?
Where they pushed him off when they set him on the top rope and pushed him, and he landed on his head.
Oh yeah.
When he landed on his head, I went, "Oh shit!"
Well, Darby's gonna kill himself someday. So.
Yeah.
How he didn't break his neck on that move is beyond.
This kid has that weird disease that you're born with that you don't feel pain.
He's rubber, dude. I'm telling you.
Obviously.
Yep. No, look, I agree. This was a good match. Matter of fact, it was much better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't at any point want to fast forward. It wasn't boring. I like Thunder Rosa. But I was just kind of wondering if that one little spot, if you guys thought that made her look a little weak or not. I guess not. I guess I'm the only asshole who thought that.
Or maybe we're the asshole for not thinking that,
Now, after the match, post-match, Thekla decided that she was going to continue kicking Thunder Rosa's ass. And, of course, Chris Statlander came for the stage, which I knew that at some point she was going to come out because they're obviously pushing this rematch between the two that I have a feeling is going to happen at Revolution. By the way, when is Revolution?
March 15th.
I think next Saturday, isn't it?
March 15th, next Sunday.
So a week from Sunday?
Yep. March 15th.
Do you guys think that Statlander's getting that title back, their first rematch, or do you think that we're going to have a longer storyline between the two? Robbie?
I think they'll drag it out and give it a storyline.
Grizzle?
Yeah, it's going to go longer. Statlander, she's going to get it back eventually, but not yet.
Yep. Before we get to the main event, we also had, I skipped over it, we had an interview with the Psycho, Ciampa.
Psycho Killer, yeah.
Disciple Killer. Yeah.
This is another promo that didn't make any sense to me.
And my favorite part of this promo is when Renee Paquette went to interrupt him, and he's like, "Hold on, Renee, let me finish." And then we had FTR come out, and then that ended with a smack in the face, which ultimately it set up a match at Collision. What I thought was goofy, in what world is a man going to slap you in the face and you're not going to want to whip his ass right away? You know, I don't know. This interview was one of those things that I thought was fine, but I could have went without it. I kind of chuckled when he talked about Fletcher taking the belt and renaming it. That was a little bit of a haha moment. I don't know. Again, didn't bother me, but if it didn't happen last night, then I wouldn't have missed it or cared either. Grizzle.
The promo was okay. My problem with it is one, I don't know what they're doing with Ciampa now, but it doesn't make any sense. FTR is in the feud with the Young Bucks. And then all of a sudden, here they come out because obviously, you know, there's history between them and DIY and NXT. Okay, we all understand that. But why, if he's got one storyline for a match that's going to happen the following week, are you going to put him on a match where he's wrestling somebody who has nothing to do with your upcoming match? I mean, it's going to be a good match. I'm going to watch it. Shit, Dax Harwood and Ciampa, hell yeah. But a week away from a title match, why are you doing that? Unless the Young Bucks are going to get involved somehow to kind of, you know, cause Ciampa to give Ciampa the win. I don't know. I'll be curious to see how it goes. But right now, it just doesn't make any sense.
So honestly, this is what I'm thinking. This is where my brain went to. And you know, I always overthink things, but I was kind of thinking the Young Bucks getting involved, causing Ciampa to lose that match, which is going to lead some way, somehow, Ciampa interfering at Revolution, which is going to lead to Ciampa joining the FTR, them creating that faction with Stokely as the manager. It's kind of
where I think you're overthinking that
thought process. I don't know, Robbie.
I don't know if I see it or not.
Well, fuck you both.
I'm sorry. I see the Young Bucks interfering. Dax Harwood. Okay, whatever. The Young Bucks interfere. Dax Harwood loses. That's going to piss him off. Now he's really going to kick their ass the next week. Inserting Ciampa into the storyline like the week before the match just seems like you're just trying to find something for him to do. So I wouldn't do it.
It's AEW, man.
Well, Robbie? This is true. Tony Khan has done stupider shit.
Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, it just it didn't make any sense why you were going that route with, you know, the upcoming feud with the Bucks and everything. But you know, we have seen stranger things.
The one part of the interview that kind of was a little goofy to me a little bit, and he didn't outright say this, but it sounds like he was implying it. When he was talking about Fletcher beating him for the title, it was almost like he was kind of implying that Fletcher beat him dirty a little bit, just the way he talked about it. And I'm like, man, Fletcher beat you clean. It was a clean, you know. But you could definitely tell how Tony Khan views certain people, because Ciampa comes in right away, gets that title match, wins the title, although he only kept it for a week and a half, 2 weeks, versus the Iconics, who comes in and pretty much gets squashed. So I'll go back to the Iconics, though, or whatever they call themselves.
Inspiration.
Do you think this was just one night of bad booking, that we're going to see the Inspiration actually do something within AEW, maybe become contenders for the title? Or this is kind of what we should expect with their booking? Robbie?
I hope it's like a bad night of booking. I actually like them. You know, they actually are a true tag team. So I liked them when they were the Iconics. So, you know, maybe I was one of the strange ones, but I just liked them.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, last night that entry,
the entry was it was goofy. It was goofy. I mean, made no sense why you did it.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I mean, they're good workers and stuff.
Right. I was gonna say, but to your point, there'd be AEW's actually. What I'm trying to think of any. I think maybe their only true women's tag team, right?
Yeah.
They would be the best to me. They'd be your best tag team workers because of the fact they're a true tag team. I don't know what creative Tony Khan, whoever. I don't know what he's thinking with that. Grizzle.
I don't agree with we're talking the inspiration. I don't agree with the squash of it. I think it was a horrible way to debut them because they're a legit women's tag team. So the Brawling Birds, you don't need to have squashes, whatever, because you want legit competition for Babes of Wrath. Too many goddamn names. But squishing, doing a squash on the inspiration isn't gonna set up. So I'm hoping that's not the case. I like them. I like the girls. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you if you say your true tag teams out of there, definitely be the inspiration. Sky Blue and Julia Hart, because they have been together for a while now, so they've been together. And Hayter and Windsor, they actually don't look bad together. So
no. when I say true tag team, I'm talking about. They're the ones that AEW didn't have to put together to create a tag team.
Right, but
they've been there, because Babes of Wrath and Julia Hart and Sky Blue, they've been together about the same amount of time.
No, but they've been, Julia and Sky have been in the same faction, though. They've been together. But, I mean, they may not have been maybe tag team, but they've been together, in there more than the Babes of Wrath have.
Got to remember, Sky Blue came back right about the time that she'd been going for a long time because of injury. She came back not too long before Babes of Wrath.
Yeah, but before she got hurt, she was with Julia Hart.
Was she really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but okay, I'll take your word for it. So, what about Babes of Wrath, man? Are they legit, real? Are they the best tag team on AEW?
No. I mean, if they didn't make them look like it last night, but your true and best ones, the inspiration, because they have been together for many years. I mean, even though it's a different name, they've been different name and stuff, but they started when you saw them in WWE. Together in TNA, and even when they got released, they went wherever, and they were still a tag team.
So, who would you guys say? And Grizzle, I'll let you answer this, and we'll go back to you, Robbie. Who is the top tag team, female, women's division tag team, not based upon title, not based upon wins, based upon how they work together, the type of workers they are in the ring? Grizzle. And you can't really say inspiration, whatever the name is, because they just got there.
Yeah, no. God, I don't know, because as we've just said, most of the women's tag teams are slapped together pairs of women. Babes of Wrath, I'd say just based on talent, probably the Brawling Birds are probably the top team right now, just based on talent and everything. So cohesiveness, they work better together. I'm sorry, Willow and Harley just don't really kind of have that cohesiveness. So I'll say the Birds.
Yeah.
And I'll disagree with you, and I'll say Julia and Sky.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with Robbie.
That's
with
fine.
That. Next, guys, the main event. AEW World Trios Championship. The Don Callis family. By the way, if Don Callis would have made this challenge last night, and this match would have been added at the last minute, Tony Schiavone, then our main event would have been Thunder Rosa versus Thekla for that title. How do you guys feel about that being how the show ended with that main event? Would you guys been happy?
I would have been fine with it.
Yeah, it'd been fine.
I agree
with it.
Now I asked that to ask this question. Do you guys think that that should have been the main event with the World Trios Championship actually being the match before the main event? Grizzle?
No, because since they added it during the show, that's always kind of that's your main event for the evening. So
I get that, but I'm talking about the action, and I'm talking about as far as the likability of the match, of what you liked best.
The women's match was better. I would have preferred that as the main event, but as I'm saying, I also understand, like, storyline wise, why this had to be the main event. So
right,
yeah,
Robbie,
no issue with it.
I mean, yeah, it would have been fine if they would have ended, the women's and with that, and they probably should have, because, it was, to me, I rated it a little better than the 6-man tag.
Now the question I have though, and Robbie, this is for you, because I'm just a worthless fucking fan that's doing what everyone else does, getting in front of the camera and forcing my opinions like a fucking worthless mark. But shouldn't, regardless of the men's world championship or the women's world championship, if that title is being defended on your weekly program, shouldn't that always be your main event over anything else?
Yeah, I mean, because that was the women's championship,
right?
And that's more important than the 6-man, and definitely way more important than the 6-man tag team.
Right.
I mean, that's just kind of a throwing thing in there. So, I mean, if you had a rank, so you, of course, be the men's, the women's, then your regular tag team, or, and whatever else belts. But the last out of it would be your 6-man tag.
Now, Grizzle, should we go according to the belt that means more, or is it the storyline that's bigger?
In this decision, it was the storyline that was bigger. I think the women's match probably should have been the main. They could have just said, the challenge is, later tonight. Didn't have to be the main event, but, they did it that way because a piece of the 6-man match, like you said, is going to be the main event of their PLE or pay-per-view. Excuse me, they have pay-per-views. Their pay-per-view next week. So
right. Let's get to that main event, guys. The Don Callis family, talking about Okada, Fletcher, and Mark Davis against Jet Set Rodeo, Adam Page, Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey. Of course, the match had major stakes with the trios title on the line. During the closing moments, MJF, he was the big difference in this match. He created a distraction that helped the Don Callis family take control. Okada, Fletcher, and Davis capitalized and captured the AEW World Championship, which means we now have a new World Championship, trio championships in AEW. I thought the match was fine. I thought it was more than fine. This was, for me, the best match of the night, just because you had such great key players in this match. And as well, I know you guys aren't thrilled about, especially you, Robbie, the Don Callis, right, family. And I'm not either. There's way too many members. But at the same time, it just makes more fucking sense that they are the trios champion over Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey, and Adam Page. I think this is going to set up, obviously, we know what Page is doing with MJF. And I keep on saying this. I think we're going to see Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey have problems. We're going to see these two split up, go their own ways, with the first few being Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. I think Kevin Knight's going to be the heel between the two, to be honest with you. Robbie, start with you.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah, the match was good. I mean, the problem with the Don Callis family is it's too damn big.
Right.
You know, if you cut people, you know, let's say even if you had 5 people in there, you know, so you took those 3 and Lance Archer and maybe one other guy, you know, I would be fine. The worst part of that evening was having to listen to Tony Schiavone and Callis talk to each other and carry conversation. That was brutal. I wanted to hit mute, and I don't know why I didn't hit mute. But the match was fine. I mean, with all the players in it, and I thought the ending was great with, you know, the way that they set MJF out, they set it up, you know, so he took out Page, setting up the Revolution feud and everything. So it, you know, it worked.
Right. How do you feel about Fletcher, Okada, and Davis being the Trios Championship? Do you agree that it's just more of a natural fit? It makes more sense?
Yeah. I mean, because you probably were going to put the tag team belts on Davis and Doyle got hurt. So now here you go. He's got his belt.
Grizzled, same thing for you, man. Do you think that, no, this is the right decision? It makes more sense because we see Adam Page is going off doing whatever he's going to do with MJF. And what do you think about my prediction that this is going to set up a feud between Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey so they can each do their own thing with Kevin Knight actually being that heel?
I think we're going to see something along down the road, yeah. I've been trying to look for it. I swore earlier I saw a graphic that said that Bailey and Kevin Knight were teaming with Mystico to get another trio shot on Saturday. I'm a little confused by that. But I was trying to see if I could find that one. I have no issue with Don Callis Family having the trios title because there's enough of a group of them. Mark Davis is now doing something at least. They're not completely burying him, so that's a good thing. I don't know if I would have had Okada as their third, but it works. And also something I've noticed the last few weeks that, you know, because you see it now, they've now even given Lance Archer like kind of a more role. He's Don Callis's muscle, basically the bodyguard type of guy. So while we're tired of Don Callis Family, they seem to be kind of giving them more like distinct pieces together. And Archer's now kind of like the muscle guy that comes out with their, you know, and now you have the World Trios Tag Team Champions. You still have Okada as the international champion who used to be the unified champion until Jon Moxley won the Continental Tournament Classic and now has the Continental, so it's split apart. So Okada's now so now we know he's just the international champion, not the unified champion.
Right. And I agree with you. In my opinion, instead of Okada, I think it should have been Josh Alexander in there.
Yeah, that would have worked. And even because he got Kyle Fletcher and Fletcher has a belt, I almost would have maybe done Davis and Alexander and maybe like a Rocky Romero or someone in there as a third, not put a second belt on one of the other guys. Maybe Okada and Fletcher shouldn't have been in it because they already have belts.
I think the problem is they had to have legitimacy in there, and Rocky Romero.
Well, that was just one of the first names I threw off the top of my head out of the Callis family.
Right. Yeah.
They keep using him as the muscle. Put Lance Archer in there. Fuck.
Give Lance a shot. You could have used Lance.
Put Lance in there. Lance Davis and Alexander. That would have been a good, decent team.
That I agree with, because talk about, you know, you technically have 3 monsters in the Don Callis family. You have Archer, you have Davis, and then the gentleman, I apologize, is out injured.
Doyle.
You have those, you know, those 3 monsters. So Doyle may be out injured, but right away you could have slipped Lance Archer into that place for now, right? I think that would have absolutely looked good. I would have been okay with that. Nonetheless, we have what we have, and I don't mind it either. I honestly would give AEW a solid B last night. Robbie?
I'm with you, a solid B.
Yeah, Grizzle?
Holy shit, we agree. I'm giving him a B this week.
Awesome. That's awesome. Before we get to Grizzle, did you have anything put together for history?
I did not. I thought you had another.
Yeah, we have 3 more questions. Yes.
Okay.
Good job. Guys, if case you haven't been watching for the past couple of weeks, on Thursdays, there is a legend, wrestling legend by the name of Rip Rogers, who kind of put together some things that he wouldn't mind seeing taken away from professional wrestling. And of course, I've taken those questions and I've been talking to Robbie Idol, because Robbie Idol is our wrestling veteran here, WCW, Florida Championship Wrestling, amongst other places. And I've been kind of asking him what he thinks about it. And then tonight, after we talk about this, I'm going to have Robbie kind of maybe talk about his things that he would like to see more of or even taken out. And we're going to have Grizzled Vet kind of put in his 2 cents as well. Even though neither one of us is a professional wrestler, but it's okay. Let's make this fun. Now, Rip Rogers said that he doesn't think there's nothing wrong with some hard way every once in a while. I'm thinking he's talking about color, the hard way, which reminds me, I came across Dustin Rhodes telling the story of him and Rowdy Piper in that street fight, and how he had told Rowdy to bust him open the hard way because Vince had no juice, none whatsoever. So Dustin said that he told Rowdy to take his fist and do it the hard way. And he said the easy way is just in your eyebrow and then twist. You pop right open. Well, Rowdy hit him the first time. Didn't happen. Gave Dustin a concussion. So Dustin told him to do it again. And Rowdy did. Except this time, Rowdy's like, you broke my fucking hand. I love Dustin Rhodes. He tells stories really good. What do you think about that? Do you think they should have more guys getting busted open the hard way?
No. I mean, look, you had Piper say he broke his hand.
Right.
Dustin got a concussion. I mean, even they did it in one of the I think it was one of the pay-per-views, so I won't say which one because I'm not sure. But Cena and Brock busted Cena open with the hard way. And
hey guys, I'll be back in just a second. Continue on with your
that's
conversation.
Fine. Was it Cena, or I thought that was Randy Orton?
No, it might have been both, but I know he did it with Cena.
Okay.
And it might have been, like within the last 5-7 years.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you're taking chances of, like you see Piper broke his hand, or you're having the guy that's getting the hard way, getting hurt.
Right. Right. Next, he has he wants more upsets in battle royals, and I get that because you have your same stars winning. I'd even go as far as Elimination Chamber, because although I don't mind Rhea Ripley, and although I think Randy Orton is kind of a surprise to have won that, but when we did our predictions, I think all three of us agreed that it was going to be Rhea Ripley, right? So yeah, more upsets in battle royals, or do you think no, it's fine what they're doing?
No, because we've talked about it on other podcasts before. You want to try to, push some of your younger people that you're trying to bring up to make them the star. Right. And once in a while, throw the guy in that nobody thought had a chance in there.
Right.
Just to swerve it.
Right. He also says you are all major leagues. You are pros. Anybody can beat anybody, and anybody can lose to anybody. And I think as fans, that's what we're guilty of. A lot of times, if you have that swerve, that surprise, loss, well, that doesn't make sense. How can so-and-so beat so-and-so? But he's right. You're all professionals. So therefore, it would make sense. Or, Robbie, should it be, someone that's not as well known, they shouldn't be coming in and beating your star.
Now, I say that they should.
Right.
Once in a while, you just, swerve it. You have it, like you put, like even like back when we worked and stuff, you throw the guys that have been putting guys over and stuff, and you go, hey, let's let's swerve them. Guess what? You surprise them. The guy goes to body slam you. You put him in a schoolboy, whatever. You do. There's ways to make it, look to work it, and it the fans don't get it, but it is. I agree. You were all professionals.
Right. Bob says, going back to the Brock Lesnar, busting someone open the hard way. He says Randy for sure, and then they had to go on TV and apologize to let everyone know that they were both in on it. He's right. That was so silly. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, but that's against pulling the curtain way back.
Right. Rogers also says, use your brain on finishing holds. Why would Hulk Hogan with 24-inch pythons use a leg drop as a finish? Do you think that your strongest characteristic about yourself should also have to do with your finish? Or, no, it's your finish. You should do whatever, you want with your finish.
Yeah, it's whatever, it's the finish.
Right.
So, that's what that was his finish. So.
Right. Next is actually something we were just talking about, actually, with Goldust and Roddy Piper. Stop punching guys on the forehead or the top of the head. You'd break your hand. I have to assume that you agree with that.
Yeah, but you look, guys throw punches to the jaw and stuff, and you would think, okay, if you're really connected, you break the guy's jaw.
Right.
So.
Right. Speaking of punches, and we got, we only have 3 questions enough. I know that you more so than Bob, you complain about, the slapping, right, aspect of it. But a professional wrestler, I can't remember who it was. I was listening to this on an interview. He made a good point, Robbie. He's like, look, especially as a babyface, close fist punches in professional wrestling is illegal moves. So as a babyface, why would you be doing that? You hit someone with the hard part of your hand, you're going to hurt them, and you won't break your hand. So it makes sense for the open hand, especially as heels versus the closed hands. What is your thoughts or comments back to that as someone who thinks that, it looks better with closed fists?
Yeah, I just, maybe the average fan doesn't see that. And I guess because of the way that was brought up, in the business and stuff, to make your punches look real.
Mm-hmm.
And the open hand thing just doesn't look real,
Right. Bob says, yeah, but Hulk weighed 300 pounds, and when he was young and could get up in the air, it looked really good. I agree. Yeah, he had those 24-inch pythons they bragged about, but he also had really big legs, plus his weight. So a big man like that coming down on your chest and throat, that looked legit. Why that would take you out. Bob says it's a loopy.
I think it's supposed to be argument.
Argument. Yeah. Yeah.
He went to Lemon Bay, so he didn't teach him how to spell.
Rip Rogers says, and I don't think this is even open for discussion because everybody should agree with this. Respect the business more.
Oh, definitely.
He also says he believes second-generation wrestlers should get their ass beat instead of being put over. Then over a 4-year period, that's when they should start dominating or getting a push. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, because you could see it. We've talked about that too in other shows, like the nepotism from, hand-me-downs for who you're related to and stuff like that. I would think you would earn your way through.
Right. The last one. Teach guys to punch. If they can't do it, at least have them stop hitting their own hand or arm. In other words, Stop doing that shit. Or, no, I mean, it's professional wrestling. Do what you know. What's your thoughts on that one?
I mean, if you can get away with it and make it look real and without, killing the guy or, hurting him, yeah, you want to, you definitely would want to do it. And if you can't, you find something else to do, Right. I mean, because it just looks better.
Right. Yeah. One second. There you go. Bob says, yes, please. What is your thoughts? I've heard a lot of wrestlers complain about this. The younger generation now, certain moves like kicks and other things, they will slap their thigh for the sound effects of the kicks. A lot of your talent from the previous generation has said that's just stop. It's not good. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, because I mean, they make it obvious, they make it obvious. So, if you can do it without making it obvious, yeah, you want to do it, but it's just so obvious that you would just throw the kicks. Don't, you don't need to slap your thigh.
Yep. Bob says, bottom line is learn how to punch or don't punch. Man, do you think you could have a professional wrestling match without throwing punches?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah. I mean, you chop, I know Bob doesn't like it, but you throw the forearm to the, to the neck and stuff like that. And you chop and you can do other things. I mean, if your punches are that bad, yeah, you definitely don't really want to throw them.
Right.
And then you just need to work on it to make it better. But yeah, you get away with it.
Yeah. What is the one thing? I'd scratch that.
Okay.
Talk to me about what you see is being done in professional wrestling that you wish they wouldn't do. And then a follow-up question is, what is something that they're no longer doing in professional wrestling that you think has hurt the business that you wish they would bring back? Yeah, Bob says the first guy in this country that made the super kick famous was Chris Adams, and he always slapped his thigh. Interesting. I didn't know that. That's cool. You always learn something very new. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah. It's like, I think with so many matches, the false finishes, like because you're using a finisher, like you'll power drive the guy and all of a sudden he's kicking out, or you're doing some big move and he kicks out. I mean, I wish they would kind of.
Real quick, because I agree with that, because what I find silly is you have like WWE that the power driver, because it's such a dangerous move, right? They've banned it, although freaking Undertaker's been using, a version of it. But my point is what I find silly about that is if it's so dangerous, then the times that it is used, why do you have guys kicking out of it? Should there be certain moves that no, it's done?
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, you see like some big moves off the top rope or something like that. And it's just like, you go, wow, and all of a sudden it's 2.5 and they kick out. It just, you're making people look superhuman, where, okay, I've got to do 2-3 finishes to you to put you away, and it kind of makes that move that, like if you're kicking out of a power driver, I power drive you twice and you kick out, makes that power driver look weak.
Right. And Bob just said, talking about the gentleman Chris Adams also used it as his finish, and he didn't do it 100 times in a match. And I agree with you because, I remember when Jake the Snake, first guy started using I don't know if he's the first guy or not, but he's a guy that definitely made it famous, the DDT, right? And I remember, I think it was Jim Cornette, if I'm not mistaken, part of a storyline was that move so dangerous that it has to be banned for professional wrestling. Everybody, their mama now uses the DDT, kind of as a precursor to a finish.
Right.
There's certain, again, I agree. There's certain things that should be protected in professional wrestling. Power driver, the DDT. Do you think if they start doing that, it would water down the matches, though?
No, because I mean, you could use them in like a big match or something like that. You know, like a big time match or something. But it just seems like most of your matches have so many false finishes now.
Right. I mean, look, I think that hold on one second. I think that there's exceptions to the rules. An example of that is, and they did it back then. They didn't do it all the time, but it was done. It was done in the big matches. I've seen the Road Warriors get power drived and get right back up, but they also had fucking massive thick necks, right?
Right.
So I guess there are the exceptions to the rules. Or do you disagree, saying, nah, there should be any exceptions to the rules with certain
no, because
that? And before you answer that, if Rip Rogers is watching, I challenge him to a match, no thigh slapping or punches allowed, and call it in the ring too.
But I mean, you had exceptions. You had, the Road Warriors were bigger. You had Barbarian and Warlord. They were bigger. Like, so certain guys, that's, you do something like that. Yeah, because they were, let's put it, larger than life.
Right.
Like your Hogan, the same like Hogan and stuff like that. Those guys were, you're bigger dude. So yeah, you could get away with it. But, you take a Darby Allin, I power drive you, you pop right back up.
Right.
And, I mean, okay, now where, how can you compare Darby Allin to Road Warrior Animal? You can't.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against Darby. It's just physique-wise. We're just talking physique-wise.
Right. Now, the follow-up question, what is something that they're not doing or you rarely see that you wish they would bring back to professional wrestling because it kind of hurt the industry?
Yeah, I was trying to go through that, thinking, while we were talking about the other. I don't, it's hard to say, because it just depends on which organization you're watching.
Right. Although I'm not a professional wrestler, as a fan, if that was presented, that question to me, I would say I would love for them to bring back the shows going off the air during the main event match, because it adds excitement and makes you excited for the following week.
Right.
Now, I can't say what I would add back as far as in-ring work, something like that, because I'm not a professional wrestler, obviously, right? But from a fan point of view, yeah, I wish that they would end shows with the main event and made you have to come back. Or, that pushed you to, I got to buy a live event ticket. I got to be there live if they come. So, you can see what's happening. But unfortunately, as I think you brought it up, it wouldn't work today because everyone would be fucking posting on social media.
Right.
This is why I think not everyone's going to like this. I think that you shouldn't be allowed or permitted to bring your cell phones to these events.
Right.
Bob says put Darby in a crash test dummy. And he says, stop playing music for run-ins. You know what? I agree with that, because that's just so you're running in to save someone, but you're going to stop at the gorilla for a second and say, hey, can you, tell the trucks to play my entrance music? Right. And then you dance to it, as we've seen some people do. Come on. Yeah, I
Right.
agree.
I mean, if you're going to save the guy, go save the guy.
Right.
You know, or
Right. Look, I love the times in professional wrestling when someone's friend or partner is getting beat down and they run to the ring and they have one shoe on, or they have no shoes on, or they were just getting out of the shower, so their hair's all wet, right? Man, I wish they would go to a little bit more detail like that because it does bring that realism.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that would be cool. But like you said, with the heart, you can't end a show in today's world because of, you know, social media and everything. And within 2 minutes, it's plastered all over the internet.
You know what, Robbie? There are concerts and comedy shows that you go to that either leave your phone in your car or you have to turn it over and they keep it in a plastic bag until you leave, right? Why can't they do that with professional wrestling? Or do you think that's crossing the line? I mean, if you're trying to protect the product, that's part of it. And if you're a wrestling fan, you should be okay with it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, but today, like today's world, the concerts and stuff, you know, everybody's, you know, taping it and putting it out on social media.
Again, but that's why they take away phones. At some performers won't allow cell phones.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to any of those concerts, but you know, and I mean, but here's what's funny about that. And I mean, you throw any sporting event, any concert, whatever, you're on your phone doing that stuff. You know, how much are you really seeing of the show?
Right.
As a, you know, as an individual, you know, you're sitting there worried about, you know, oh, I'm going to tape this song or whatever. But how much did you really pay attention to what was happening as you're worried about getting this on your phone?
Yeah, Bob says I actually like cell phone footage at certain angles. It gives you a different perspective of the crowd's reactions. And that's weird. That's kind of weird coming from someone who was a professional wrestler, especially in the era, because part of one way to try to bring more kayfabe back to the business is by not allowing people to put that footage out. That's one reason kayfabe is where it's at now, because of fucking surprises now. It's because of cell phones and videos. I don't know. I mean, Robbie, what's your thoughts on that comment?
No, you know, if you want to see different angles, wait till they put it out on YouTube or on tape and do the concert and go get the tape.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, that wraps up this episode, AEW Dynamite. We all three gave it bees. Don't forget to please subscribe to the podcast. And we'll be back tomorrow night. Hopefully, you know what, man? SmackDown has been decent. Hopefully, we'll have another good SmackDown tomorrow night, and we'll be energetic and on fire to do a recap on the show. And then also, guys, and something I'm actually pretty excited about coming up on this coming Saturday. Here's my calendar. There we go. This coming Saturday, March 7th at 3 p.m. Central, I have Heather Lynn. She's ballet. She does announcing for professional wrestling. She does announcing for UFCs. I'm excited to have her on. Really nice young lady. Excited about that. So please subscribe to the podcast. Also, April 13th, Baby Doll is going to be coming back to the podcast. Baby Doll was the one. She was my second interview I've ever done. And although the interview was decent at the time, it was still only my second interview. So I'm so glad I get to have a redo because the podcast is so much better now. Even the production aspect of the podcast is even better now than it was back then. So I'm excited to have Baby Doll back again on April 7th. That's a Monday, 6 p.m. Central. Subscribe so you don't miss that. Till then, Robbie.
See you tomorrow night.
See you all tomorrow night. You guys have a great Friday.